They mocked the new cheerleader, unaware her father is Samuel L. Jackson. High school hallways can be cruel places. Behind the bright lockers and school spirit posters, there's an unspoken hierarchy, those who belong, and those who are made to feel like they never will. Being new is hard enough. Being new and different can feel like walking into a storm without an umbrella. This story dives into that storm. It's about a teenage girl trying to find her footing in a new school, chasing her passion for cheerleading while quietly carrying the weight of expectations, whispers, and cruelty. It's about bullies who mistake kindness for weakness, silence for fear, and humility for insignificance. And it's about a father who believes in dignity, discipline, and standing up, not with fists first, but with principles. But most of all, it's about consequences. Because sometimes, the people who laugh the loudest have no idea who's watching from the shadows, or who you go home to at night. This is a story of resilience, identity, and the moment when arrogance crashes headfirst into reality. The moment when mocking turns into regret. And the moment when a father steps in, not as a celebrity, not as a legend, but simply as a dad. Settle in. This is part one of a powerful two-part story. Pay close attention, because every detail matters. Now, let the story begin. When Aaliyah Jackson walked into Westbrook High for the first time, she felt every single eye land on her. Not because she was loud. Not because she was flashy. But because she was new, and new kids were always a curiosity. She adjusted the strap of her backpack and took a slow breath. Her father's voice echoed in her head, calm and steady like it always was. Walk with confidence. You don't owe anyone an explanation. Aaliyah lived by that. She had just moved from Los Angeles to this quiet suburban town, a place where football games were treated like holidays and cheerleaders ruled the social food chain. Ironically, cheerleading was the very reason she was here, why she had chosen Westbrook High in the first place. She loved it. The discipline. The teamwork. The power behind every perfectly timed movement. What she didn't love, were the whispers. Who's she? She thinks she can just walk in like that. Probably thinks she's special. Aaliyah ignored them and headed straight for the gym. Tryouts were after school, and she planned to be ready. The Westbrook Wildcats cheer squad practiced like royalty owned the gym. Front and center was Madison Clark, the captain. Blonde, confident, sharp-tongued, and painfully aware that she ruled the school's social ecosystem. When Aaliyah walked in wearing plain practice gear, Madison's eyes flicked over her like she was an inconvenience. Tryouts are for experienced cheerleaders only, Madison said without smiling. Aaliyah met her gaze calmly. That's why I'm here. A few girls snickered. Madison tilted her head. And where did you cheer before? Los Angeles, Aaliyah replied. That did it. The room shifted. LA meant competition. LA meant talent. LA meant threat. Madison forced a laugh. Cute. Well, don't slow us down. Aaliyah didn't respond. She just stretched, focused, and waited. Tryouts began. And within minutes, the laughter stopped. Aaliyah moved with precision. Her jumps were higher. Her timing sharper. Her control flawless. When she landed her final tumbling pass, the gym went quiet, then erupted in murmurs. The coach nodded slowly, impressed. Madison's jaw tightened. From that moment on, Aaliyah wasn't just the new girl. She was the problem. The bullying started subtly. A missing locker key. A spilled drink, by accident. Snide comments whispered just loud enough to hear. You don't belong here. LA thinks she's better than us. Captain material. Please. Aaliyah took it in silence. Not because she was weak, but because she was strong enough to wait. At home, she never complained. Her father noticed anyway. Samuel Jackson sat at the kitchen table one evening, reading over a script while Aaliyah worked on homework. He glanced up, studying her face like he always did. "You okay?" he asked. "I'm fine, Dad." He didn't push. He rarely did. But he made a mental note. He always did. The real incident happened on a Friday. Football game night. The stands were packed. The lights blazed. The Wildcats were winning, and the cheer squad was hyped. During halftime, as Aaliyah headed toward the locker room, Madison and two other girls cornered her near the equipment shed. "You really think you're gonna take my spot?" Madison said, arms crossed. "I just want to cheer," Aaliyah replied evenly. Madison laughed. "No. You want attention." Before Aaliyah could step away, one of the girls shoved her shoulder hard. Aaliyah stumbled back, hitting the metal bench. Someone snapped a photo. "Oops," Madison said sweetly. "Careful, new girl." Aaliyah's heart pounded, but she didn't cry. She stood up slowly, brushed herself off, and looked Madison straight in the eye. "You don't know who you're messing with," she said quietly. Madison scoffed. "Is that a threat?" "No," Aaliyah replied. "It's a warning." She walked away. By Monday, the photo was everywhere. Captions were cruel. Laughing emojis flooded the comments. Teachers saw it, but did nothing. Aaliyah sat in class, jaw clenched, fingers tight around her pen. That afternoon, she came home early. Samuel Jackson was in the living room, running lines out loud. He looked up when the door closed harder than usual. "Aaliyah." She froze. He saw the bruise on her arm. The silence that followed was heavy. Dangerous. "Who did this?" he asked calmly. She hesitated. "Dad." "Who?" She swallowed. "Some girls from the cheer team." Samuel stood up slowly. Not angry. Focused. "Are you safe right now?" "Yes." "Good," he said. "Then tomorrow. I'm coming to your school." Her eyes widened. "Dad, no." He gently lifted her chin. "No one puts their hands on my daughter and walks away from it." His voice was quiet. But it carried thunder. That night, Madison laughed with her friends, scrolling through comments, enjoying every bit of attention. She had no idea that the storm was already on its way. Part 2, When the Truth Walks In, almost equals 1,500 words. Monday morning at Westbrook High felt normal, at least on the surface. Students laughed in clusters. Lockers slammed. Teachers rushed through hallways clutching coffee cups and lesson plans. Madison Clark strutted down the corridor with her usual entourage, chin high, phone in hand, still basking in the attention from the viral photo. She didn't notice the black SUV pulling into the visitors' parking lot. She didn't notice the man stepping out, tall, composed, dressed simply in a dark jacket and jeans, sunglasses hiding eyes that missed nothing. And she definitely didn't notice the way the front office secretary froze when she looked up from her desk. Because if she had, she might have felt something she wasn't used to feeling. Fear. Aaliyah sat in her first period class, staring at the board without really seeing it. Her father had driven her to school in silence, his presence calm but resolute. Before she stepped out of the car, he had placed a hand on her shoulder. "You did nothing wrong," he said. "Today, you just tell the truth." She nodded. That was the moment she heard a knock on the classroom door. The teacher opened it, and her face drained of color. Aaliyah Jackson," she said uncertainly. "Yes, ma'am." "You're needed in the principal's office." Aaliyah stood, heart racing. Whispers erupted instantly. Madison smirked from across the room. Probably finally getting kicked off the squad, she thought. She couldn't have been more wrong. The principal's office was silent when Aaliyah walked in. Principal Harris stood stiffly behind his desk. Two school counselors sat nearby. And leaning casually against the wall, arms crossed, was her father. Samuel L. Jackson. No movie star swagger. No smile. Just a father whose patience had run out. "Aaliyah," he said gently. "Come sit." She did. Principal Harris cleared his throat. "Mr. Jackson here has raised serious concerns." Madison was called in next. She entered with confidence, until she saw him. Her steps slowed. Her smile faded. Her brain scrambled. "Wait, is that?" "Yes," Samuel said calmly, removing his sunglasses and meeting her eyes. "It's me." The room felt smaller. Madison swallowed hard. I don't understand why I'm here." Samuel tilted his head. "You put your hands on my daughter." Madison laughed nervously. "Sir, this is a misunderstanding." "Save it," he said quietly. Principal Harris slid a folder across the desk. Inside were screenshots. Messages. Photos. Videos. Witness statements. The laughter died in Madison's throat. "You and your friends have been bullying Aaliyah for weeks," the principal said sternly. "Physical assault. Harassment. Online abuse." Madison's face went pale. "She threatened us," Madison blurted. Samuel leaned forward. "My daughter warned you to stop." Silence. "And you didn't," he continued. "So now we're here." By lunchtime, the entire school knew. Not because of gossip, but because of reality. Madison Clark was escorted out of class. 2 other cheerleaders followed. Phones buzzed non-stop. "That new girl's dad is Samuel L. Jackson. The cheer captain got suspended. Did you see the video?" "Yes, the video." Because one thing Madison hadn't known was that Aaliyah wasn't the only one who had been recording. A sophomore had filmed the shove. A janitor had caught audio. A teacher had reported prior incidents. And Samuel Jackson made sure every piece of evidence was impossible to ignore. That afternoon, the cheer squad was called into the gym. Coach Ramirez stood front and center, expression hard. "Bullying ends today," she said. "Madison Clark is removed as captain. She is suspended pending further disciplinary action." Gasps filled the room. Coach Ramirez turned to Aaliyah. "You showed strength. Control. Professionalism. That matters here." She paused. "Aaliyah Jackson, you are the new captain of the Westbrook Wildcats." The gym erupted. Not with laughter this time, but applause. Aaliyah stood frozen, tears filling her eyes. She hadn't asked for revenge. She hadn't asked for power. She had only asked to be treated with respect. Madison sat at home that evening, phone dark, social status shattered. For the first time, no one was laughing with her. Her parents stared at her in disbelief as the school's official disciplinary letter lay open on the table. "You embarrassed this family," her mother said quietly. Madison said nothing. She finally understood something far too late. Power built on cruelty never lasts. That night, Aaliyah and her father sat on the porch, the sky painted with stars. "I didn't want you to ruin your image," Aaliyah said softly. Samuel smiled faintly. "My image is fine." He looked at her. "Your dignity matters more." She leaned against him. "Thank you for believing me." He kissed her forehead. "Always." Weeks passed. Westbrook changed. Teachers paid attention. Students spoke up. Bullying dropped, fast. And Aaliyah? She soared. Not because her father was famous. But because she was talented. Because she was disciplined. Because she never let bitterness win. At the final game of the season, the Wildcats took the field under bright lights. Aaliyah led the squad with confidence, grace, and strength. In the stands, Samuel L. Jackson stood and applauded, just another proud dad. No cameras. No headlines. Just justice. If you enjoyed this and the conclusion of this powerful story, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications for more emotional, inspiring stories like this. Because the next one might hit even closer to home.